that. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Today on our community forum, we have Kelly with Love Inc., and she's going to be presenting on all the wonderful things that Love Inc. does within our community and how they could potentially help out families that you work with, or you personally as well. They do a ton of stuff. They are a huge resource for us at the health department. We do a lot of referrals to them and with the families that we work with, but we're super excited to learn more. So at this time, Kelly, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Tracy. Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm so excited to get to share a little bit about Love Inc. of the Cedar Valley and the resources that we can offer. And hopefully I would love to follow up with any of you afterwards that might have some questions or want to make some more personal connections. I'm happy to do that. You can reach me and I will see if there's a chat box available as well, but I will put my email address in the chat box. Feel free to save that and reach out to me after our little talk today. I would love to get to know you. All right, so Love Inc. of the Cedar Valley is a nonprofit organization. We are a local affiliate of actually a national organization. So we are one of 120 Love Incs. In the US, and there's a few out of the country as well. And the goal of Love Inc. is to be able to network churches, businesses, and individuals together to meet needs in the community. And so we believe that we are stronger together and that we can do more if we work together instead of just individually on our own. So our mission is to mobilize local churches, local people to transform lives in the community. We are a faith-based organization because we believe that Christians are supposed to be helping the people around them. And if we're not, then we're doing it wrong. And so that is really central to what we do and what we believe. But we are very proud and happy that we cross denominational lines, backgrounds, heritage, history, to meet all different types of people and to collectively help those who might be in need in our community. So we have currently 36 different partner churches, all different backgrounds, all different denominations, working together to help fill needs in our community. So one of the ways that this works great is that we think that if one church can provide one or two specific needs, then they can refer on to Love Inc. and another church can meet one or two additional needs. So the churches no longer have to feel like they have to do it all. A lot of times they're getting calls on a daily basis for help with multiple things: water bills, food, child resources, all kinds of different things. And a lot of times churches are the first place that people think to reach out, and we love that. But the churches are not equipped to meet all those needs in the community. They just don't have the resources, the time, or even the training to be able to meet needs accurately and effectively in the community. So Love Inc.'s part of our role is to take off some of that administrative burden. We want to build the case files on all of our clients. And more than that, we want to build the relationship with each person who reaches out to us. We want to take off the pressure from the churches of having to decide whether or not this is an appropriate request to fill or not. If this is somebody who is maybe in chronic need, or if this is kind of a one-time sort of need, we want to be able to determine that and help them in appropriate ways based on what that need is. And that's just something that a lot of churches are not prepared to have to decide. So that's a little bit of background. Our local affiliate has been in the Cedar Valley for 11 years. We have an office on Rainbow and Cedar Falls, but we serve Waterloo, Evansdale, Cedar Falls, Elk Run Heights, and Raymond is our current service area. And the reason that that is our current service area is that that's where our partner churches are currently located at. And so that kind of determines the communities in which we serve. So we're always open to expanding that, but for now, those are the towns that we would be able to provide services for. Just typing my email address in here before I forget. Okay. All right, and if anybody has questions along the way, we could either do that, or if it works better to ask them at the end, that's fine. But if anybody has something pressing, you can feel free to wave at me and I will take a pause here. Okay, so a part of our philosophy is that we want to be united in our purpose, relational in our focus, and holistic in our approach. So we've all been in need at one time or another, and those needs vary based on the circumstances that we are born into, whether or not we grew up here, who we know in the community or don't know. And for newcomers to the Cedar Valley, a lot of times people just don't know where to start. And so we want to help build that bridge for them by first being able to offer some tangible needs, such as baby supplies and diapers. And I'll go into the list in a few minutes about more things that we can offer. But in addition, we want to be holistic in our approach. So that means not just addressing that physical immediate need that somebody might have, like food, but providing a relational connection. As much as the person is willing to engage with us, we want to enter into a conversation to know how they are feeling. We believe that isolation can be one of the biggest hurdles that any person has to overcome. And it's hard to improve your circumstances when you feel alone. And so we want everybody who reaches out to us to feel heard, to feel valued, and to get off the phone feeling like they have community, that people are going to follow up with them, that people are going to check on them and get them plugged in to services, churches, community groups, whatever that looks like where they're at is what we want to do. So oftentimes that community is one of our church partners, but it could also be AA or NA or any other sort of community type group. We are so happy to refer to those because we just don't want people to be isolated and alone. So that's part of our approach, is meeting emotional and spiritual needs as well as just the tangible physical needs. Love Inc. is not an emergency service. So if you are in need of emergency assistance, or you're referring clients on who might have an urgent need, we are not the best resource for that. Our nonprofit runs off of volunteer power, and so we call people back in the order that we receive their calls, regardless of what type of need it is. So even if somebody says that their water is getting shut off today, they're still going to go in the same line, in the same order that everybody else is going in. And we're happy to meet that need, but that callback time can be anywhere from a few days to up to 2 weeks, just depending on how many volunteers we have versus how many calls are coming in. And part of that is intentional. We really like to focus on the idea that every human can take steps towards their own stability. And that looks different for every single person. So maybe it is just utilizing the disability money that they have coming in a little bit more effectively, or maybe it is finding somebody who can provide childcare for their kids so they can go to work, or whatever those next steps are for people to take steps towards sustainability and stability. We really try to encourage our clients to do that, that they have value and that they can contribute. And so we are going to, as we talk to you, just encourage you to think about what are some of your barriers? What are some of the things that have been really hard for you to kind of get around, to provide for yourself or your family? And can we help you think through that, or provide resources or connections to help you kind of work past some of those barriers? All right. So part of the reason that we are not an emergency service is because we want our clients to be kind of thinking through what steps can be taken in the meantime to solve their own need. There's a lot of dignity into being able to meet your own needs. I know that we all have felt that way, where sometimes it's difficult to ask for help, and if we can figure out how to do it, we want to, and that's a good thing. So a little bit of space and a little bit of time while providing good resources for people, we feel like is a really healthy way to help. Okay, I am going to talk a little bit now about, we call them ministries because we're a faith-based agency, but some of the resources that are available to you and to people in the community. And then I'll talk about the process for applying and who is eligible and how that eligibility works. Okay, so like I said, we have a bunch of partner churches in the Cedar Valley. We have 36, and I believe about 18 of those have some sort of pantry service that they offer, where they keep physical items at their church locations. And then we can schedule appointments for those clients to go and pick up the things that they need from those different partner churches. If transportation is an obstacle or a barrier, we do offer deliveries that are done by our volunteers to bring those services directly to the home for people who really cannot have reliable transportation. So you can keep that in mind, that is available for most of our services. So I'm just going to go through the list here and talk a little bit about each one individually. In alphabetical order. How does that sound? All right. So we have a purchase program that is designed for appliances. A lot of times people are moving into new homes and they do not have appliances provided by the landlord. Regardless of whether or not they're supposed to be there, they're not, and maybe they're not in working order. And as you know, those are very expensive items to try to provide, especially if you're new to the area or haven't started a new job yet. You can't necessarily spend that money on a washer and dryer. Instead, a lot of your funds that you might be making at your job is actually going to go toward the laundromat. And so instead of that problem just getting worse and worse, spending that money repeatedly, we would love to get you a washer and dryer if you have the space and room for it. So what we do is called a purchase program, in which we will help contribute financially towards the cost of a used appliance of your choosing. And we can generally contribute between $100 and $150 of that, and we split the cost with you. So if it's a $400 appliance, we would generally contribute $200 of that cost. If it's a $100 appliance, we're splitting that cost 50-50, and you would be paying 50 and we would be paying 50 for an appliance. We offer baby supplies, and for us, that means until the child has their second birthday, we are able to provide ongoing supplemental resources for baby supplies. So that's diapers and wipes. And that also includes a couple basic clothing items and pajamas. It includes baby wash, baby lotion, soap, Essentially all of the smaller things that you would need to take care of your child. We do not provide food or formula, and we do not provide the larger baby gear like cribs or car seats. We found that it's hard to keep the value of those items the same, and it's also difficult to keep up with safety recalls. But we are able to offer those smaller items. The baby supplies anyone can apply for, and they are eligible every other month until the child turns 2. So essentially 6 times in a 12-month period, you can apply for baby supplies. We offer bus passes. Bus passes would include 7 two-way rides around the area, and those types of requests are saved for people who have a appointment that is essential to their well-being, to their life. So we don't provide just general transportation, but we do provide those bus passes to people who have someplace that they have to get to. So for example, if you have a doctor's appointment, a mental health appointment, a social services appointment, court, a job interview, and even the first 2 weeks of work, if you've gotten hired at a new job but haven't gotten your paycheck, how are you supposed to get there? So we would love to be able to help you in that way, but we do need you to have something on the calendar that you need to get to that is essential. We also would help with a bus ticket. The same kind of qualifications apply where you have to have something that you're getting to, but those bus tickets are usually something out of town. So for example, if you're seeing a specialist for your child's complicated medical treatment in Chicago or Rochester or wherever their specialist doctor is that you have to get to, we want to help you get there. So that could be a bus ticket. It could also fall under our gas card category if you have a vehicle but need gas to get there. Other things that I've provided bus tickets for would be things like funerals for an immediate family member. It needs to be in the nuclear family where you've either raised this child, or it's a parent, somebody that you grew up with in the house. And same for visiting a loved one who is maybe in a hospital or on hospice care somewhere out of state. We do not provide bus tickets for people who have just come here and then gotten stuck here. We just receive, unfortunately, too many of those types of requests to be able to sustain that sort of transportation. So again, you have to have something on the calendar that you have an urgent need to get to. All right, we do car related expenses. So if you have a vehicle, we would love to help you out with your car maintenance, because we think that if you are able to keep up on your oil changes and your brakes and your tires and all of that stuff, you will most likely have a vehicle that is able to get you to where you need to be for longer. So we want to help with that general car maintenance. We also can help with minor car repairs. Again, something pretty small to be considered for a car repair. It usually has to be under our $300 threshold. And we're often not paying that full $300. A lot of times we're paying $150, depending on the funding that we have and your circumstances. So if the quote that you're getting is $2,000, you would not qualify for our services, because we just feel like our little contribution isn't going to make a huge difference to you at this time. So minor car related expenses. We can help with car insurance and vehicle registrations, renewals. So getting your car tags, we would be happy to help with those. And car insurance, I love helping with car insurance because we always try to think about the spiral, right? Like if one thing goes wrong, where are we going to spiral? What other things will happen next that cause you to become even more unstable? It often just starts with one little thing. So a car accident can be devastating, especially if you don't have insurance. And so helping with that sort of thing can sometimes stop the spiral from happening, where your car is wrecked and now you don't have a job because you have to pay for the damage. And so we want to stop the spiral as much as we can. So car insurance, car registration. Rarely I will help with a car payment. We have approved a few people for that before, but generally speaking, car payments are astronomically high. And a lot of times what happens is if we pay for our car payment, it's not sustainable for the person who's applying for help to make the payment the following month and the following month. So depending on the circumstances, we will consider it, but generally speaking, those don't get approved very often. Okay, in November, we start taking applications for Christmas gifts for children, holiday gifts. And so we are able to serve families with a service where they can come and shop for gifts for their own family. We want you to be able to choose the gifts for your own children. As much as I love shopping, I don't know if your son likes Batman or Spider-Man. I don't know if he loves Wonder Woman. Looking at you, Tracy. So I want you to be able to shop for your own kids. And so we offer shopping experience where the gifts are something that you purchase for your children, but they're marked down to 80% off that retail cost. So our gifts are priced between $1 and $6 each. So that tends to be fairly affordable for people, where they can spend $1 on a nice gift for their child. But again, it offers you the choice of what you're picking out for your kids. Each family is eligible for up to 4 gifts for their household. And some of those gifts, one gift can be a gift card to a local business like Walmart or Target or even restaurants. And you could utilize that gift to purchase additional gifts. So if you get a $30 gift card to Walmart, you can certainly take that to Walmart and buy 4 more gifts for the rest of your children if you have more than 4 kids. Okay, so that's Christmas. We do cleaning supplies, which is like a mop, a bucket, broom, all-purpose cleaner, sponges, all the things that you might need if you need to clean your apartment or your home. We also will do gas cards. We kind of talked about that when I was talking about the bus passes. The eligibility is the same for that. And I guess I didn't mention some of the eligibility here, but for the cleaning supplies, that's once every 2 years you can apply for that big package of cleaning supplies. And the gas cards are 3 times in a 12-month period. So all of our services, again, are meant to be supplemental. We can help with minor home repairs, so things like fixing a door or painting a room or repairing a hole in a wall, something very minor. We often have volunteers that can help fix. We also could help financially contribute if you have maybe a leaky faucet or something small that requires a professional person to come in. Don't pay the bill ahead of time. You need to have them look at the project and then call us with an estimate of how much it's going to cost. And then we will let you know whether or not we can approve that financial help. If you pay it ahead of time or pay it on your credit card, we can't pay you back for that. So make sure that you're talking to us about that first before you make any payments. But again, the threshold for that is around $300 or under, and we're generally contributing up to about 100, 150 of that, depending on our funding. Okay. We want to help with identification cards. So that could be a driver's license, a birth certificate, an ID card, whatever it is that maybe you're in need of. And we can help you kind of walk through the process for that. If that's a confusing process for you, or you just need additional information, we can help you know the steps to take to get those ID cards. And then we will contribute financially for the total cost of that. Okay, food. We offer food boxes, which include generally meat and dairy, produce, and non-perishable items. So pretty significant food boxes. We do base them on the number of people in your household. So you should have enough to feed your family for about a week off of that food box. You can apply for food boxes 3 times in a 12-month period. We also can include what we call essential items in those food boxes, or you can apply for them independently of the food. And essential items apply to any consumable products that you use up. So things like toilet paper, paper towels, basic cleaning products. It's not the mop and the broom under our essentials categories. It's more of the sprays and the wipes. Dish soap, laundry detergent, all of the household supplies essentially that you use up would fall under our essential category. Also under our essentials is shampoo and personal items, conditioner, toothbrushes, toothpaste, anything, deodorant, razors, anything that you need for personal products would be under that essentials category. And that is 3 times in a 12-month period. And again, we're going to try to provide enough for your household. We do offer furniture, and there's 2 ways that we do that. And so this one is really great for people who maybe have just moved here and they don't know where to start with furniture. Our furniture, we have 2 options. So the first is our waiting list. Generally it has 30 families on it, but we have spots become available every so often. As we distribute furniture, a spot will open up. So to get on that list, you have to keep calling us and hope that you get a spot. Like you call on a lucky day and we might have a spot available for your family. Through that list, you can get up to 3 furniture items or appliances for free. And so those are gently used items. They have been donated to us, but we check them to make sure that they are clean and in working order before we give them to you. But those are free items that you can receive from our waiting list. Sometimes the wait is anywhere from a few weeks to up to 6 months, depending on how many items you're requesting and the nature of those items. For example, if you're requesting I'm sorry, my notifications are going off here. If you're requesting a washer and a dryer and a refrigerator, you're going to probably be waiting more towards the 5-6 month time frame, because those are very large and expensive items. And the chances of me having all 3 of them that match what you need in your home for size and type, it just takes us longer to get those types of items. But if you just need 1 couch or 1 mattress, it's most likely that your request will get moved through that line fairly quickly, because we're able to meet that need a lot faster. Okay, the other option is our purchase program, which I already talked about when I talked about appliances, where we split the cost with you to purchase an appliance. We can also do that for mattresses as well. So you would go and shop at a retailer in the area for a mattress. It can be a new mattress, and then you call us to let us know when you found one, the size, how much it costs, and then we would be able to split that cost with you. We do max out at $200 for those mattresses as well. Okay, and that does not include assembly or delivery or installation on appliances or mattresses. It would just include the items itself. So you do need to be prepared that if you need it delivered to your home, and you do the purchase program, that you have a way to either pay for the delivery charge or someone who can bring it to you. Um, for the household furniture waiting list, those free items, we do deliver those to your home. Okay, we also offer kitchen supplies, so pots and pans, cups and glasses, silverware, casserole dishes, dish towels, everything that you need essentially to set up your kitchen. You can also apply for one small appliance like a microwave or a coffee pot, coffee maker through that kitchen ministry. That's a one-time service, as is the furniture. We can only give that to the same household one time. We offer linens, which is bedding, so sheets and comforters for your beds, up to 4 per household. So you can get up to 4 comforters and 4 sheet sets that will fit the beds that you have in your family. And same with towels. So we would include a towel and washcloth up to 4 for your household. And that is a one-time service as well. We offer in-home medical equipment. And so that could be incontinence pads, and bandages, wound care supplies, first aid kits, all the way up to walkers and wheelchairs, tub benches, shower chairs, canes, essentially any home medical equipment we can generally provide within reason. We don't offer any electronic items, so no electric motorized scooters or wheelchairs, and no hospital beds, and no lift chairs. Those items are just too big and too expensive for us to be able to offer, but everything else generally is available through our medical supply program. And the eligibility on that is just based on which item you are receiving. And those bigger items like the wheelchairs, it is a lending closet. So if for some reason you ever don't need that anymore, we do ask that you return it so we could give it to somebody else to utilize. The smaller items are yours to keep. Okay. We can help. Some of our in-home services would be the minor home repair, and then moving assistance. So depending on why you need help moving, we can consider helping you with a move. And that would be volunteers to come and load up your furniture from one place within our service region to another place within our service region. So we would be moving your furniture. All of your boxes need to be packed before we can move them. So it could be in a box, it could also be in a tote or a laundry basket, but any smaller things do need to be contained in some type of box before we're able to help move that. And we need to know why that you need assistance moving. Is it because you physically are not able to do it because of a disability or an injury? Maybe you have a bad back and that would not be healthy for you to be able to move those items on your own. Or maybe it's a financial issue, or maybe you do not have a truck or a vehicle to put your items in, and so you just need that resource. And so depending on what your circumstances are, we're going to try to help fill that need for you. All right, so that's moving assistance. Another in-home service that we can offer is our seasonal yard work. And so depending on what your circumstances are, we can do a yard cleanup for you 2 times in a calendar year. So generally that's like in the spring and then again in the fall. Again, we're assessing kind of what's the barrier to you being able to take care of the things in your yard. Were they there when you moved in? Do you have a disability? Are you able to help? Kind of just understanding what the situation is. because we cannot offer ongoing yard services, so we cannot do weekly mowing, and we cannot do ongoing snow removal, but we can come twice a year and help you haul things away if the circumstances make sense. So a lot of times we are assisting elderly people with that type of request, or people with disabilities, or people who just have a big project. They moved into a place and somebody had piled up junk in the backyard, and they just don't have anybody to help them move it away, or no truck to help them. So that's another one of the services that we would provide at your home. We can help with phone cards if for some reason you don't have a government phone, or you need minutes on your phone. We can help you pay for either a phone or some phone minutes for your phone. In November, we do a Thanksgiving meal. This is a meal that you cook in your own home. So it includes a frozen turkey and my favorite pie, as well as all the canned goods that you might need to make a traditional American Thanksgiving meal. We also can offer a service of transportation. This is somewhat limited. This is where we would partner you with a volunteer to get to one type of appointment on a monthly basis. So, for example, if you are scheduled to go to the food bank once a month, but you don't have a ride to get there and it's too difficult to carry your food back on the bus, we would love to be able to provide a volunteer to go and pick you up, take you to the food bank, and bring you home. We like to set them up on a reoccurring basis. So, for example, the first Monday of every month. And that you would end up building a relationship with that volunteer, so you would feel safe with them and get to know that the same person would be picking you up every time. You do need to have it be the same type of appointment, and they're only going to that one place. So it's not an opportunity to make multiple stops and run errands a bunch of different places. You would pick one type of request. So it could be the post office or the bank or the grocery store or the food bank or a medical appointment, but whatever it is that you pick as being your most urgent need, that's the appointment that we're always going to help you out with. I'm almost through my list here, and then I want to talk a little bit about our educational program, and then tell you how to apply, and then we might have just a couple minutes for any questions. Our financial assistance, we don't pay for utility bills. That's one request that we get often, but we do not assist with. The only bill that we would assist with would actually be water bills. So that's just the service area that our churches have determined was the biggest gap in the community. And so that's the one that we will help assist with. And that financial contribution usually lands at about $100 for a water bill within our service region. We can also help you with paying for a work required uniform or footwear. This one is really great for people starting new jobs, because a lot of times you can't start until you have steel-toed boots or non-slip shoes or the work uniform. And so as long as it's required by an employer, we're happy to help with that request. We don't generally help with just things like if you're allowed to wear jeans and a t-shirt to your job, that's generally not specific enough for us to be able to help with. But if you work at Target and you need a red shirt and black pants and black non-slip shoes, that would qualify, or the steel-toed boots to work in a factory job. So we're happy to help financially with that. And that's a once a year resource. That is my list of services. I hope I didn't forget any. But feel free to reach out if you have an idea or a request of something that maybe might be missing off our list, or you're just wondering if it's something that we do and maybe I forgot to mention. I would love to hear from everybody if there are other gaps that you're noticing in the community. We use the word gap as whole. It's a hole in the community. There's not enough of those types of resources for people in the community, and so we want to fill those holes if we can. So please feel free to contact me with any other ideas or questions. Okay, so what's the process for receiving help? You can call us and I will put our phone number and our website in the chat box. But you can call us between Monday and Friday from 9 a.m. until noon is when our call center is open for incoming calls. We do call people back in the afternoons as well. So you may receive a call from us in the afternoon, but our phones are not open for new requests in the afternoon. You have to call in the morning. That initial phone call only takes about 30 seconds. You just tell us your contact information and what you need help with. An advocate could call on your behalf. So if there's a language barrier, if you don't speak English, or if you have a disability, you can have somebody else call us, or just make that initial phone call and tell us what language you speak, and we will find translation help. That initial phone call is how you start the process. You can also go online to our website anytime, and I'll put it in the comments now, and click the box that says apply for help. And there is a brief form there that you fill out with your contact information, and then we will give you a call back in the order that those requests come in. So again, don't panic if you have submitted it but haven't heard from us in a few days. You are in the line and we will call you back as soon as it's your turn, but it can sometimes take over a week. Okay, so that's how you first apply. After we receive your initial request and we can call you back from one of our intake volunteers. They will have a relational conversation with you over the phone to try to determine kind of what your circumstances are and what other ways that we can support you. We'll provide additional referrals at this time for anything that we can't help with. And then at that time, we'll set you up with the appointments to get the different things that you need. So for example, we might be able to, if you have a need for diapers and a water bill and a food box, we can schedule you for those things at the same time. So feel free to call us with more than one need. Okay, after you've been scheduled for those appointments, we will follow up with you to make sure that everything went okay. If you were able to attend your appointment, or maybe if you need to reschedule. We do ask that if for some reason you can't make your appointment, you call us ahead of time to let us know that you're not going to be able to make it. And then we can reschedule you as much as you need, because we understand life happens. If for some reason you continue to make appointments and don't show up and don't call us, that does affect your eligibility eventually in the future. So just keep that in mind, that we just need to hear from you if you aren't going to be able to make it. Okay, that is what I have for us today. Does anybody have any questions, maybe resources that you're wondering if we can help with, or anything about our process? You can just unmute yourself if you have anything.
What do we think? Do we have questions? Adriana, did you have a question?
So for all the services, is there a wait time, or it's just for those bigger items that families need?
Great question. So there is initially, the wait time is initially between when you first put in your request. So either when you call the phone number or submit your request online, there will be a slight wait time before we call you back to complete your intake application. So that's the initial wait. The furniture list has an additional wait while you're waiting to get those big items. But the smaller items like food boxes or diapers, generally, depending on how many appointments are available at the church, we're generally scheduling you for an appointment that same week to pick up those supplies or have them delivered. Occasionally it will be the next week, but it's not farther out than that. Does that answer your question?
And then to donate?
Yeah, great. So we do accept donations. You would call the same number, and we accept furniture in good condition. And then any of those other things that I mentioned earlier, we would accept. So bedding and kitchen supplies, linens, non-perishable food items, all cleaning supplies, all of that stuff we would accept at our office. Generally, that's between 9 and 3 on weekdays that we would accept that. For the furniture, we do have to make a special appointment to either pick that up or arrange to have you meet us at where we store our furniture, because it's not kept in our office. Great question. I did want to mention before I leave you that we always have volunteer opportunities as well, and we're open to anybody who feels like they would be a great fit at Love Inc. So we do an orientation process where you can learn about all the different types of opportunities. Some are available during the day and some are available at night. Most of them are available during the day, but we have some flexibility there. So if you're looking to volunteer or build a resume, anything like that, where some volunteer experience would be a good resource for you, please reach out. We also are accepting applications for interns. So if you know anybody who needs internship hours, we would love to do an interview with them as well. Finally, before I go, another component of our program is that we do have ongoing groups that we call Begin Now. So it's one of the ways that we stay connected with you after you've received our services. If you are interested, it's not, you're not obligated to go to these, but it's just an additional support for you. So they're community-based groups where you can come together with other people from the community, share a free meal together, get to know your neighbors. And then there's an educational component to it where you can pick a class to take. So one of them is always a financial literacy class. So you're learning about budgeting, money management, you know, healthy spending habits, that sort of thing. And then one of them is always kind of like a goal setting class, where you can set goals for yourself and work on them and move towards your dreams. And then the third one is always an elective. So we've done things like parenting, we've done healthy cooking, stress relief, all different kinds of things. So those are our client-based classes. And then we offer additional classes for volunteers and community members as well. We're doing, we've done classes about poverty. We're doing classes about racial relations. We're doing, the other one is called Redemptive Compassion, which is about healthy helping, essentially, like how can we help our community in a healthy way. So if anybody is interested in either signing up for the Begin Now classes that I mentioned first, or we call the second group of classes our missional classes, that information is also on our website, or feel free to email me. We'd love to have you. Anybody else? Okay, well, it was such a privilege to be able to talk to all of you. I really appreciate your time and your attention, and hopefully this is helpful to yourself or to people that you might know.
Thank you so much, Kelly. That was great. Love Inc. is a phenomenal resource. As I said, there's so many things you can do very clearly. There's so much that's going on there. Yeah, I think that's all we have, unless there's any other questions. I know sometimes I have to call people out in order for them to talk, but we do have 5 more minutes left if there's any questions.
I did forget to tell you one thing about our process that I want to make really clear. So we are not based on income. So you
That's
can
awesome.
apply. Yeah, like people from all different backgrounds are welcome to apply. We do a financial profile for our financial requests, but it is more a relational conversation to find out where your money is going, how your budgeting is doing, where you're spending that, rather than just a set number on whether or not you're eligible. So you're welcome to apply regardless of where you fall in that income bracket, because we know that life has a way of making things hard on people, and sometimes you're feeling really stable and then you hit a speed bump and then suddenly you're not so stable anymore. And so we try to be pretty low barrier for that. So
That's phenomenal. Not a lot of agencies do that, so that's really great to know.
right.
So that's awesome. That speaks a lot about the equity in regards to how you can serve the communities. That's great. Very cool. Okay, well, I'm going to stop recording at this point.